Rudy Giuliani is a dumbass, drunk ass, lying ass motherfucker.
One again, one America. What happened? What happened to? There's no black America. There's no white America. There is just America. What happened to it? Where did it go? What happened? America! One America! What happened? One America! What happened to it? America!
But anyway, let the man speak for himself. Yeah, listen to your boy.
And anything that I can do to help that, I want to do. I've said to all the people that voted for me that the election is over, and that we have to support the winner of the election. That's what the process is all about. The city has...
What the hell is wrong with you? Racketeering. What the hell do you know about racketeering? What the hell do you know about racketeering? Racketeering.
With a target on their back.
What the
Yeah, most of us remember a lot of people calling Rudy so-called America's mayor back in the day. But Rudy just had his mugshot taken. And it's a real serious situation. He's fighting several cases, but to be indicted and have his mugshot taken, this is all in connection with the whole January 6th scheme. That's the same situation that got, Enrique Torrio of the Proud Boys 22 years in a federal prison on sedition charges. Now, I don't think Rudy is facing that kind of time, but it's not looking good. But the question is why? Like, why exactly is Rudy Giuliani's mugshot plastered all over the news? What exactly did he do to get himself facing prison time? Well, as always, I'll let the man speak for himself. But first, let's look at Rudy.
I like scotch.
Donald Trump's lawyer is facing 3 separate cases and being indicted in one. And just like Donald Trump's last lawyer, Michael Cohen, Cohen's now out of prison. But Cohen got locked up. He went to federal prison. Now he's out of prison, and he's fighting another case against Donald Trump in court. The whole thing, it gets really messy. It really does. But this is how Rudy got himself into this mess.
So that he gets trapped into perjury. And when you tell me that, he should testify because he's going to tell the truth and he shouldn't worry, well, that's so silly because it's somebody's version of the truth, not the truth. He didn't have a conversation.
Truth is
about,
truth. I don't mean to go like...
No, it isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. The President of the United States says, I didn't...
Truth isn't truth. Mr. Mayor, do you realize what...
No.
This is going to become a bad meme.
Don't do this to me.
Don't do truth isn't truth to me.
Donald Trump says, I didn't talk about Flynn with Comey. Comey says, you did talk about it. So tell me what the truth is.
Don McGahn might know.
If you're such a genius, Don McGahn does it.
Look at that woman. Look at her taking those ballots out. Look at them scurrying around with the ballots. Nobody in the room, hiding around. They look like they're passing out dope. It's a tape earlier in the day of Ruby Freeman and Shay Freeman Morris and one other gentleman, quite obviously, surreptitiously passing around USB ports as if they're vials of heroin or cocaine. I mean, it's obvious to anyone who's a criminal investigator or prosecutor, they are engaged in surreptitious illegal activity, again, that day.
What was your mom actually handing you on that video?
A ginger mint.
Now, while Rudy ran across the nation, lying on any network that would have him about this election, the focus of this one particular case centers around the fact that Rudy tried to scapegoat 2 black women, election workers Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss.
Truth isn't truth.
Well, of course, Rudy couldn't go down to Atlanta his damn self, so he enlisted the help of another black woman, Travion Cootie. Yeah. One of only 2 black faces in this degenerate class photo is what I call it. And she's also like the former publicist of R. Kelly and Kanye West.
There's a lot of things that I love about Hitler. A lot of things.
Here in this police body cam, Cootie met with Mrs. Freeman at a Fulton County jail. It's supposed to be like a safe, neutral spot. But I don't think that Miss Cootie expected her conversation to be picked up by the body cam. So now it's being used as evidence against her.
It's no problem. Hi. Good evening. How are you? So thank you so much for agreeing to meet with us. We didn't want to frighten you, but we had to find you within this time bracket. I'm here because I received a call. Not that I didn't know about this situation before, because I had heard that it wasn't a serious concern for me because I had actually nothing to do with it. We would like to let you know first and foremost, we have put in placement a way to move you, to secure you from what may be on the horizon within the next 48 hours. And we have probably 48 hours to move you. We will do it on your schedule. I cannot say what specifically will take place. I just know that it will disrupt your freedom and particularly the freedom of one or more of your family members. I would like to connect now on the phone Harrison Floyd, who would be taking this situation to a detailed level for you to let you know exactly what is at stake, what choices you have, whether you choose or not to deal with us. I am not your enemy. This is Garrison. He works with me. You are elusive for a party that needs to tidy up. I work with some of the biggest names in the industry. Crisis is my thing. One thing we don't want to do for you is create another person. I'm going to call Harrison Floyd. I'm going to put him on speaker. And who is Harrison Floyd? Harrison Floyd is Harrison Floyd. Is of that who works in crisis management at a very high level with authoritative powers to give you the protection that you need. And I do want the officers to know this is at this moment a conversation in between private citizens. I am hoping that you are trusting that this information doesn't go any further. I have to honestly advise, I don't know her background.
I can step over there if you're comfortable. That's fine?
Yeah, I want her to be comfortable, but I also want to advise her that there are federal people who are involved here that I don't know who is connected to who. And I really need for her to be as nonchalant as possible with this conversation that we are going to have, so that if she does make a decision, she's protected in her decisions.
Now, some of you might be wondering who Harrison Ford is, the guy she mentioned in the video. Floyd. It's the other black face in that short bus class photo. And Miss Cootie, get that out the way. And Miss Cootie insinuates that Harrison is some progressive, and that's laughable because Harrison is actually the director of Blacks for Trump. And he was like the only one out of all of them to get locked up. He was the only one to actually get locked up. You know, Rudy Giuliani, Trump, they came in there, got fingerprinted, got their mug shot, and they dipped. But his black ass was the only one that stayed locked up.
I've spoken with several different attorneys before flying out here. The cost is typically between $40,000 to $100,000 just to retain a lawyer for these charges. And then they charge hourly. I cannot afford, I'm not going to put my family in that kind of debt, especially with my daughter. I cannot afford an attorney for something like this.
So yeah, well, after about a month, he got out. And I guess I don't know. He held a press conference. I guess that's what you could call it. Whatever this is.
Turkey. You want me to give him the green light? All right, sure. Gentlemen, whenever y'all want to get started, y'all want to be behind them or not? Sure. So, you want us? Yeah. No. You gotta have Dane and body, right?
Yeah. You have strong lenses, I guess.
Okay, talk a little bit about your experience.
Are you guys rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling.
You're all ready?
Yeah. Yes.
So, first I just want to give thanks to God, who's the head of my life, for keeping me safe while I was in there. Second, I want to thank my wife, who's been a tremendous support, and I want to thank everyone outside who's been praying for their well wishes, and especially for all the kind contributions to the legal fund. They're greatly appreciated. And last but not least, I would like to thank District Attorney Fannie Willis for giving me what we call in our community a Negro wake-up call, because she has reminded me that our country and the state of Georgia will not be able to be a righteous nation if we stand on pillars of corruption, racism, lying, and cheating. And when we are governed by men and women who are more concerned about things in the world rather than serving the citizens they're sworn to protect, we end up going into more and deeper darkness.
Hey man, just want to let you know that sometimes you gotta shut the fuck up. You gotta shut the fuck up. This current time is just one of those times you gotta shut the fuck up.
Okay, look, I at least got to give him his props on this. Your boy is rocking the fresh Retro 3 Jordans. Look like they fresh out the box. But of course, he's got them untied with the Nike tag on with his country ass. I mean, and then the khakis he's wearing too. Like, bro, those, you can't rock those type of khakis with J's. They don't fall right. They don't sit right on top of the sneaker. Just the whole outfit, the blazer he's wearing, and then the white golf cap, with the beak bent hard. Nigga look like Tiger Woods with a drinking problem. Back to Rudy Giuliani.
I like Scotch.
He's always had an issue with the truth, and he's always exaggerated things. Here's a couple of examples of this clownery.
Hit me hard enough to knock me forward about like this. You know elderly people die mostly from falls? This guy could have killed me.
I got hit on the back as if a boulder hit me. It knocked me forward a step or two.
All of a sudden, I feel a shot on my back. Like somebody shot me.
You know, that was the woman who was rubbing my back. The guy hit me so hard that she herself almost fell from the reverberation of it.
Okay, so it's almost time to close this thing out. And at the end of the video, we're going to go over some of the court documentation to really look at what type of hot water Rudy has really gotten himself into. But before we do that, before we get to that, I want to share a conversation between Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, and Lev Parnas. Now, both of these guys have actually done fair time with crimes connected to Donald Trump. But listening to these guys talk about Rudy Giuliani right now, it's just like listening to two old friends just talk about some people and places that they know. It's a real candid conversation. But before we close this out, I just want to share this with y'all real quick.
It's like Groundhog's Day. But, I'm curious because you said that, Rudy says a lot of stupid things. And you may remember we saw each other at the Trump Trump Hotel in D.C. when you were with Colludi and I was there handling some other shit. I'm curious about Rudy's drinking because, I always call him Rudy, Colludi, Drunken Giuliani. Because to me, he always seems drunk. I mean, I watched him as he's knocking down bottles.
I like Scotch.
I mean, I'm not talking about a glass. I'm talking about bottles. And Noel Dunphy said that Rudy was drunk most of the time as well. And that's when he would get really, really nasty.
Well, exactly.
When you spent time with Rudy, what was his relationship like with alcohol? I mean, did he get out of control at all in front of you?
Oh, I mean, there was plenty of times that I had to help security bring him up to his room, and I didn't even know if he was going to make it the next day. I mean, and it would start off. I mean, usually either with a Bloody Mary or a glass of wine, and then there and off it went. But it always ended with the scotch.
I like scotch.
And there was, I mean, looked like he could kill a bottle in a few hours. I mean, it would be nonstop, pouring the scotch and having a cigar. It would be 2, 3 cigars and a bottle of scotch every night. I mean, so he was, and I seen him go on the television. Most of the time, we'd be at the Grand Havana room several times. He's sitting there already knocked up there with his tie undone, barely sitting there. He'd get a call from either Hannity or Laura saying they wanted him on. And next thing you know, he's like, oh, all right, time to go. And his handlers were always nervous about him doing it. But Rudy didn't give a shit.
You can't make this. You can't make this shit up. So something that a lot of people are forgetting is that Rudy is very much in the Dominion voting system case. I mean, people forget that suit is still even pending and that he is a named defendant in it. What do you think will happen with Rudy and Dominion voting? What do you think the ultimate outcome will be? Because Rudy's got no money. A lot of the shit he does, he's got no money.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems and one of the reasons that Rudy did the things that he did, whether it was with Ukraine or trying to get involved with the Arab Emirates or Saudi or whoever he could snag $1 from under Giuliani partners, that was his shtick. That's what he wanted to do. I remember he called me and he said to me, I think that you should join Giuliani partners. And that's in 2017 through the 2018 period before which I was raided by the FBI. He wanted me to come join Giuliani partners.
But later that stopped.
Yeah, because as the personal attorney to the president, he figured that he could use the relationships and parlay it into, very significant contracts. Yeah. What do you think will end up happening in that specific case?
Oh, I think especially after Fox settled, I think they're done. It's a matter of either he's just going to get a judgment for billions of dollars. I mean, there's no way he could defend this guy. I mean, he's guilty, black and white, because most of the stuff that Fox got in trouble for was stuff that Rudy was feeding them. So I mean, the end result is I don't know if they'll ever see money from Rudy, because like and I know that he doesn't have a pot to piss in right now. I mean, maybe some houses or some property that got left over from his divorce with Judith. Maybe they'll be able to take that stuff away. But I think it's going to end up very badly for him, especially, with the criminal charges.
Tell me something, because I've been curious about this for a really long time, and it just dawned on me. So I remember there was a scenario where Rudy was telling people, because we have a lot of mutual friends and relationships. I remember him turning around and saying that Donald owed him millions and millions and millions of dollars. Somewhere along the line, Colludi, or I should change the name now to Rudy Stupidi, thought that Donald was going to pay him $250,000 a month for his legal representation.
Maria Ryan wrote him a letter. No, it was already after me. I was cracking up because Maria Ryan wrote the letter to Trump saying you gotta pay Rudy because he wasn't probably paying them, because Rudy would always say, I can't pay you because I have to collect it from here or do that. That was one of the reasons he was hitting me up for money, because he needed to make payroll, he needed to do this and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it was when I saw that $250,000 a month, I cracked up. I couldn't believe that she had the gall and the balls to actually send that letter to Trump. And look at what happened. Trump told him to go screw himself. He didn't even give him money for attorneys. He didn't even give him his out of pocket. He didn't even pay him his out of pocket expenses. Exactly, and then he kept going on and is still fighting the fight supposedly, and it's crazy, Michael. I can't. It's unexplainable. I mean, but you know what? It's like that cult mentality. You know it. It's I don't know what when you drink that Kool-Aid. But Rudy's one of the leaders of that cult. he's feeding that Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying to you? He's pouring the Kool-Aid. You know, so it's
I mean, the whole thing was so stupid. He didn't even pay him back his out-of-pocket expenses. And Colludio's telling everybody, Donald owes me $3 million. Don't worry. What I find the most fascinating is the fact that Donald was grifting off of his supporters' money in order to pay Rudy's legal fees and other people's legal fees.
And they're not paying.
You know, and he didn't pay any of that. And that money's still sitting in that super PAC that he keeps 90% that he's got discretion over, which, by the way, to all of Donald's supporters that may or may not be listening to this show, excellent job in paying for Donald to repair his antiquated 57 aircraft when he was having engine problems because he's too cheap to have purchased what's called power by the hour, right? Which is every time that you fly, you put money away to pay for services and repairs. So all of these idiots that are putting money into this PAC that Donald is controlling, he's using for his own discretion for his own purpose. And even though things like Rudy, who I don't even know where this $250,000. When I heard that he stated that Donald agreed to pay him $250,000, I was like, yeah, for 3 years, right? Donald doesn't pay anybody $250,000 a month. I was saying to myself, what the fuck? It's not a chance in the world. I said Rudy was probably heard that number right when he was piss ass drunk, but no chance in the world Donald's gonna pay anyone $250,000. Shit. I remember when we were setting up the campaign 2015 and we were looking for a campaign manager. A couple of the guys came in. They wanted $250,000 because they never thought the campaign was going to get off, the starting line, and they wanted to make money, the whole bit. They'd stay for 6 months, make themselves $1.5 million, whatever it might be. The reason Corey Lewandowski became the campaign manager is because he ended up accepting $2,500 a month, not $250,000 a month. When I heard that, I almost fell off my chair and saying, boy, Rudy really needs to dry out.
And Rudy might get a chance to do just that.
I like scotch.
Go sit his drunk ass down somewhere in a jail cell and dry out. Yeah, and Rudy's facing some real gangster shit down in Fulton County, Georgia. In the United States of America versus Donald Trump. That indictment accuses Giuliani of soliciting the violation of an oath by a public officer by persuading Georgia state senators and representatives to appoint a set of alternative electors who would cast their vote for Trump in the Electoral College instead of Biden, who had won lawfully. Now that's what's stated in the indictment. And you know what's funny is, Rudy said something kind of cryptic. This was a couple of years ago. When somebody brought this up to him. This is way before he was indicted, way before the mugshot. And this just shows you, what type of shady guy he is and the shady company that he keeps. But listen to what he said about Trump when it comes to this situation.
Things written like, he's going to throw me under the bus. Right. When they say that, I say, he isn't, but I have insurance.
Yeah, man, Rudy is batshit crazy. And as always, I like to let the man speak for himself. But former Defense Secretary John Bolton, his secretary, Fiona Hill, in a hearing, this is what she said about old crazy ass Rudy.
And he then, in the course of that discussion, said that Rudy Giuliani was a hand grenade that was going to blow everyone up.
For John to say I'm a hand grenade, well, then he's an atomic bomb.
President Trump rejected the advice of his campaign experts on election night and instead followed the course recommended by an apparently inebriated Rudy Giuliani.
Is there anyone in that conversation who, in your observation, had too much to drink?
Like Mayor Giuliani. And the mayor was definitely intoxicated.
I like scotch.